gig. This is our third International Forum on HIV and Rehabilitation Research, and Francisco has moderated beautifully every single one of them. So thank you for continually coming back and willing to moderate again. I just want to say a few words, and then Kate will as well. It's really a pleasure to be here and to be able to have the opportunity to collaborate with the Canadian Association for HIV Research, or CAHR, as well as the Canadian Working Group on HIV and Rehabilitation, or CWGHR for short, to come together with this Canada-UK HIV and Rehabilitation Research Collaborative, or CUHRRC. So there's a lot of acronyms on the go. As Francisco mentioned, there's a diverse group of stakeholders here today, and it's really a pleasure and to know some of you already and new faces in the room. So welcome and thank you for being here.
Hi, good morning everybody. I'm Kate Murzin. I'm from the Canadian Working Group on HIV and Rehabilitation, CWGHR for short, and I'm pleased to bring greetings on behalf of CWGHR, and also want to acknowledge that our Executive Director, Tammy Yates, is sitting right over here, and my colleague Pooja Aluwalia is sitting in the middle. So if you would like to chat with us throughout the forum, we'd be happy to, and to engage you in CWGHR's work.
So just to go over a few of the goals of the forum, today we have actually 4 key goals. The first one is to facilitate knowledge transfer and exchange on HIV, aging, and rehabilitation research. And this is our 3rd international forum, but the very first one that we focused specifically on HIV and aging in the context of rehabilitation. So we'll be hearing from many great speakers about the research and clinical and models of service delivery that are being delivered across Canada as well as internationally. The other goal is to obviously foster new research and clinical partnerships in the field of HIV and aging, and that's already begun today. To foster mentorship and training. So we're very fortunate to have graduate student trainees here and 3 rapporteurs, which we'll introduce to you in a bit, who will be taking notes from today. And then lastly, one of the key outcomes of the day is to identify what some of the new and emerging priorities might be in HIV, aging, and rehabilitation. And you'll notice that you have sticky notes at your tables. So throughout the day, as you might see or generate or have some light bulb ideas that you want to get down, feel free to jot them down on the sticky notes and paste them up around any of the HIV and rehab posters that you see around the room there. From our discussions today and the presentations that we'll hear today, the idea is that we will work towards not only a report from the forum, but a future framework of what the new and emerging priorities are in the field of HIV, aging, and rehabilitation. And I'd like to acknowledge that we are here and have the ability to be here thanks to funding from the Canadian Institutes of Health Research, or CIHR, the Aging Institute, and as well as CWGHR, Canadian Working Group on HIV and Rehabilitation, the Canadian Association for HIV Research, or CAHR, who approached us and is collaborating with this endeavor, and as well 3 Flying Piglets, who are filmmakers, Patrick Gale and Jonathan Ray Brown, who have made the trip from the UK. And this is also their 3rd time filming the events as well. So thank you. There have been a number of individuals who have been involved in putting the day together and the agenda together, and these individuals here represent the team members and collaborators on the CIHR Planning and Dissemination Grant team. Many of whom are here today and will be speaking. There are 2 individuals who are on this list and unfortunately were not able to make it. So Esther MacDonald from the Chelsea and Westminster Hospital in the UK, as well as Colin Burgeon from St. James's Hospital in Dublin, who both send their well wishes and they look forward to updates. And everybody else here has been involved from many different endeavors and across Canada and the UK and the US, who we look forward to hearing from today. And now I'm going to pass things over to Francisco.
Okay, we keep on repeating our names time and time again. It's shameless self-promotion. So We have, and there's a button to press this. You know us. We're the core planning committee, and we have lots and lots of committees. This is how we make ourselves feel very important. And so there's another committee that comes up. Oh, yes, this is very important. So I'm going to invite, actually, of all these folks that you see listed there, Patrick and Jonathan, Tammy, and Kieran, I'm going to invite Patrick. No, later, just a sec. So these are the 3 flying piglets. I mean, if you're curious about what they do, they're very controversial, but in a very good way. Their materials are very interesting. So they're not always for family viewing, but that doesn't mean they're obscene and bad. But you should check them out. They're very important. So the rapporteurs, I'm going to ask them to stand so you see who they are, because these are the promise of the future, and they're going to say two words about themselves. So, yes. So Sai Saravanan, where are you? Tell us 2 things about you. All right, and those are 2. Thank you. And we have Alex Terpstra.
Hi. I am first excited to be here, and second of all, work closely with Francisco, which is a lot of fun.
He was paid a very good sum in order to say that. Thank you. Thank you. Adria Quigley from Dalhousie. Hello. Okay, and now we're going to talk to one of the piglets. And he's going to talk to us and tell us why they're filming, how they're filming, and a number of things. And you're going to do it, you know, in that amazing Brit fashion that you have.
Can you hear me? Yes, fabulous. My name is Patrick. My colleague Jonathan is over there. This is the 3rd time we filmed this event. We hope that our flitting from camera to camera will not spoil your viewing pleasure. But we are filming throughout the day. We will not be filming people. Well, we try not to film people. We film the panel, but we'll try not to film the audience. If you have any concerns about that, then let me know. And we do blurring. We do very, very good blurring. That's about it, Francesca. Just to say that we'll continue to do a gorgeous, fabulous job, and I'll see you in the break. Is that okay?
All right,
cool.
Thank you very much. You kind of put on a stronger accent when you do that in front of people. Oh,
It was a little camp, I apologize
okay,
for
folks.
that.
So, although I'm aging fast, apparently accelerated aging, at my age, men, they buy a sports car or do other things in order to deal with their midlife crisis. But I've embraced technology in all its forms and ways. So, I own one of these. It's an extension of my body. And so I invite you to, those of you who love them, I whistled, those who love them, and to please Twitter. Who Twitters here? Good for you. Twitter away. Twitter the good, the bad, and the ugly. And these are the different Twitters where you can, they didn't put Universities Without Walls also has a Twitter, because we're everywhere. So please do that. Feel free. Photos. I like selfies. I like taking photos with everyone. Everybody does. Okay, next. This is very important for us because we wanna get better, bigger and better. And so we ask you to please, they're not there yet. I think they're in your package, to fill out your yellow paper forms. And again, be very candid. This is very important. I love all these cameras pointing at me. I'm having a moment. Okay. So one of the important things, and I think it's contained in a package or it's outside. Yes, and so Kate Murzin, as you see, she's about to be married, and she's very, very strong. And this is very important to know because she carried herself a huge suitcase full of these roadmaps that explain everything that CUHRRC is doing. She printed them themselves. Oh, the man is coming. Come and stand over here. Don't be shy. And so it's important that you acknowledge that and her strength, by taking one of these, it'll make you become familiar with a number of the things that the Canadian Working Group on HIV and Rehabilitation does. It's very important, and there are a number of things you can use with your clients, patients, with your students, with your colleagues. So please take that, right? Okay. So another plug, we're full of those. So who's in that one? So Dr. Patty Solomon, Patty for those who love him and know her. Oh, there you are. Hello. And Richard Harding. Richard, thank you for, did you find what you needed?
Yes.
Your clip, okay. Chris Lucas from Nine Circles. I haven't met Chris. Are you, well, we have met before, I think.
I don't know if we have.
I have thousands of friends in Facebook, and I meet them on regular basis. Lovely that you're here. Thank you. Stephanie Nixon. Who's Stephanie Nixon? Well, Stephanie Nixon is also giving. What are you doing that all of a sudden you're going to have? Yes, say it. Stand up and say it. You're going to be.
I have the good fortune to be delivering the social science plenary tomorrow morning at 9:45, and the topic will be reflecting on rehabilitation science approach to HIV.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it means that rehabilitation itself and all that it contains is becoming really important in, the picture here. And we have the lovely Darren Brown. There you are. Thank you. He brought me cookies, so I would say lovely. And they're very good. They're ginger and chili. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I take bribes, it's evident. And Kate Murzin, of course. So they'll be all on the Living Longer and Living Well, Healthy Aging and HIV, Reaching New Heights on Friday, May 13th at 12:30, and there's food that accompanies that. So that's always a good draw. So remember that. Okay, so I know you love the podium. So you can talk up to like 45 minutes, not longer. Come and say hello to the folks. No, in all seriousness, so the director of the Canadian Association of HIV Research, Mr. Andrew Matejcic, is going to say hello on behalf of CAHR to you guys.
Hello. So as Francisco said, Andrew Matejcic, Executive Director of CAHR. Kelly asked me to say a few words today, and I thought, well, what am I going to say? But really, it's about the people on this podium. Many groups come to CAHR and say, oh, we'd like to have a session at your conference, but then there's people who make it happen. So, and that's Kelly, Francisco, and Kate. We worked on a workshop grant together. I say we worked on it together. Well, Kelly did 99% of it, but and Kate and Francisco and I just kind of put my name on it, and we got funded. So that was allowing us to do, for you guys to do this ancillary meeting, to do the special session on Friday. So it's been great, and all the effort that they convinced me to go to a rehab session, 3 years ago, I think, when this whole partnership started, and ever since then I'm a big convert for rehab, and Stephanie, who's on our board of directors, is also pushing for rehab focus for everything you do. So I just really want to say good luck on your meeting today. Have a great time seeing all the rehab efforts at the CAHR conference, at the special session on Friday, and seriously, congratulations to these three people, and I'm sure there's other people out there, including Tammy, but who have made this all happen. Quigger, big supporter of Quigger as well, always very vocal at the national partner table. So congratulations for making this happen. Again, a lot of groups want to do a lot of things, but you need doers, and these are three doers who really made this all happen. So with that, good luck today, and I wish you a great conference.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, folks, so without any further ado, I'm going to leave you with a lovely Kate Murzin from the Canadian Working Group on HIV and Rehabilitation, and you're going to tell us all about it.
In 5 minutes or less. Yeah. Hi, everybody. So for those of you in the room who aren't familiar with Quigger, this is my opportunity to tell you a little bit about what we do. So what is Quigger? So Quigger was brought into being almost 20 years ago by our late founder, Lee Stack, shortly after spread uptake of combined antiretroviral therapy. And at that time, she and her contemporaries, many of whom are in the room today, recognized that rehabilitation in its broadest forms could be a key contributor to quality of life for people living with HIV across the life course. So that vision continues to be relevant today, especially as people are living long-term with HIV and comorbidities. And rehabilitation supports a shared desire to stay engaged in the workforce, in community and family life, as well as contributing to people's ability to live long and age well with HIV. So, CWGHR's strategic directions, we have 5 of them. They are access to rehabilitation services, labor force participation and income security, my area of focus, which is HIV and aging, and that's what brings me into the fold today. Mental health is a lens through which we see those other priorities, and of course we're always concerned as well with growth and sustainability of the organization. But we work collaboratively with partners across many sectors to do the work that we do, partners in the disability sector, in rehab, in aging, and we consider HIV from a number of different angles, as an episodic disability, as something that people age with, as a multi-morbidity that people grow older with, and we try to do our best to create resources and supports for people who are doing frontline work in this area. So we're really pleased to be a collaborating partner today on the forum, and to work with Kelly and Francisco and everybody in the room, and we look forward to getting to know you more as we go along. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Kate. And now I have the pleasure to give a little bit of a background on what the Canada-UK HIV and Rehabilitation Collaborative is, or CUHRRC for short. This is essentially a small collaborative that was founded in 2009 out of a small CIHR planning grant. And the collaborative began actually at the International AIDS Conference in 2006. There was an occupational therapist by the name of Will Chegwin and his physiotherapist counterpart, Emma McGettin, who worked at Barts in London. And they had heard about CWGHR, and they came over to Toronto to attend the International AIDS Conference. And at that time, they reached out to CWGHR and Elise Zach and the team, and that was then that we sort of had this first meeting. And there's ideas started to generate about the clinical expertise that was existing in the UK system with the foundational education, policy, and practice work that CWGHR was involved in, as well as the research programs going on here, and hence this informal partnership formed. And then in 2009, that partnership became more formalized in nature. And CUHRRC in and of itself includes now just over 60 members, and that includes people living with HIV, researchers, clinicians, policy stakeholders, and representatives from community-based organizations, essentially with an interest in HIV and rehabilitation research. And it's really an opportunity to start bridging practice with community and with research. It's not an onerous collaborative to be a part of, and if you're interested, you can go to our website and look at what's involved in becoming a member. We essentially have a couple of webinars a year and communicate with members with e-newsletters. We have been fortunate with CIHR planning grant funding to be able to have these face-to-face forums. This was our inaugural meeting that happened in 2009. This is us in the rehabilitation gym at Barts in the London Hospital. That's Patty Solomon facilitating that day. And if anyone wants to chuckle, just ask about the WebEx meltdown, because we did actually try to coordinate a video conferencing with a larger group back in Canada, and it just completely went awry. So that's why we now stick to face-to-face and doing face-to-face really well. In 2013, we partnered with the Canadian Working Group on HIV and Rehabilitation at their annual general meeting and forum. And this was our first international forum. And you can see that these were the stakeholders involved there. In 2014, Darren Brown and the Rehabilitation HIV Association in the UK hosted a group at Chelsea and Westminster Hospital to have our second international forum. And there have been some work that has been generated. I mean, certainly the knowledge transfer and exchange that happens on site, there are the partnerships that have been built and the projects that have stemmed from that. But there's also some hardcore KT material. So the reason why Patrick and Jonathan are filming today is essentially that they put everything together and edit it into what's called a KTE, or Knowledge Translation Exchange Library. So you can go on these two links here and see every single oral presentation that was delivered at the first and the second International Forum. We also have reports from the forum, summaries of evidence, and photos as well. And so that will be the plan and one of the key outcomes from today as well. After the June forum in 2013, we actually, in addition to the forum report, developed a framework of research priorities in HIV and rehabilitation. And this was actually an update from the original research priorities that CWGHR developed and published back in 2010. And Annette Wilkins is there in the back. She and I had the pleasure of working with CWGHR on that scoping review. You said 10 years ago now? 10 years ago. So in 2013, those priorities were updated and essentially were formulated in three main areas: episodic health and disability across the lifespan, rehabilitation, and methodological advances. For today, we're really focusing in on the episodic health and disability, aging across the lifespan, concurrent health conditions, and then on the rehabilitation realm, looking at different forms of rehabilitation interventions and the effectiveness of those rehabilitation interventions. So the overview of the forum agenda, you have it all in your packages today. We have two research evidence panel sessions scheduled. The first one is focused on successful aging with HIV and multimorbidity. And the second is rehabilitation interventions and strategies in aging. Each of those sessions will have a keynote speaker, which we'll introduce in a moment, as well as panel session speakers that will speak on their specific evidence and clinical models of service delivery. In the afternoon, we have a panel session on bridging evidence with the real world, and that will be facilitated by Larry Baxter. And then Kate and I will wrap things up at the end of the day on sort of bringing this all together and hearing from you and your ideas about what some of the budding, new and emerging research priorities might be in the field. So some of the concrete outcomes that will come from today, absolutely new knowledge about HIV, aging, and rehabilitation research, generating new and fostering existing partnerships between clinical, community, and research practice. We'll have our KTE materials in the form of the videos, presentations, a forum report, and a summary of evidence that we will circulate to all of the members here today, and this framework of new priorities in HIV, aging, and rehabilitation. So you do have these sticky notes on your tables. We have the rapporteurs, Sai, Alex, and Adria, who will be taking notes from today's discussion. And it's going to be all of these things that we're going to pool together to help generate these research priorities and recommendations for where things go from here.